When Richard was on Top of the Pops in '92, you have to remember that was 20 years ago. It was the beginnings of the band, really, and he was really excited at that time that that they were going to become a successful British band, and I think he really enjoyed the success at that point. Richard was a very caring, thoughtful, intelligent man. He was the co-lyricist of the band. He loved writing words and reading books, and that continued really at the end. He didn't really enjoy the success as much as he did at the beginning, but his love of words and books never left him. Well, when Richard first went missing, obviously the immediate impact is to search for him, and running alongside that is all the emotional difficulties you have to face. But as the years dragged on and there was no sign of him either way, we had to face the decision of dealing with his financial affairs. It was only his financial affairs. Without knowing where he is, we continue to hope we'll find him. But when we were faced with the problems of his finances, we realised how difficult the current system in England and Wales was for dealing with any missing person's affairs in the absence of a body. Well, we found that there was no advisory organisations for the families. The police didn't know where to signpost you to. Solicitors didn't know. We had a very, very good solicitor who was willing to stick with us. But during the course of meeting other families, I realised some other families dealt with more difficult issues. We only had probate to deal with, but some families had issues such as dissolving a marriage or sorting out joint assets, and the whole process becomes even further complicated. We found it difficult because, as well as dealing with the emotional impact of someone missing on a day-to-day basis, we then had to face, this very unclear and confusing process as to how to go about obtaining a court order to declare someone dead. When any family members goes missing, in the immediate term, you still have to sort out issues such as mortgage payments, accessing banks, and that's why the guardianship order has been proposed alongside the presumption of death, so that in the interim, whilst you may not want to go to court, of course you don't, at the beginning to resolve a person's affairs, you can in turn now have a guardianship order where you can oversee the person's affairs in a correct way. It was difficult for us because Richard, because he was in the public eye, he was having a lot of media attention, sometimes not always the best media attention. So we had to deal with that, we had to deal with the fans, and also us as a family having to cope with the fact that, my brother had gone missing, my mum and dad's son had gone missing, and in the midst of all that, then having to plough through a really cumbersome process of declaring resolving his financial affairs.